Hello everyone and welcome to your horoscope for the week of January the 13th till 19th, 2025. Now this particular new year and new stuff, right? Well, for me, it it kind of came to the fact that for this horoscope I have no notes and I never ever done that in my life. So this is truly a first time experience for me. Well, this Mars retrograde that all of us are under the effect of makes me, but so very many other people, but me especially, because I'm born under Mars in Cancer natally. Not retrograde, but sluggish. And Saturn in the sign of Pisces, especially retrograde, time is not flowing like it should. So this is my excuse, but on the other hand, there is a divine reason in everything, right? And I kind of figured out the divine reason. Because this week, especially, gives the tone to 2025. All of it, basically. So this is like the gong that will reverberate and echo. And, even when you use a singing bowl or gong type of thing, it is basically the echo, the reverberation that is the most healing, not when you strike it. So this is where we just kind of reflect a big, big, like it's so big. I can't even describe, like the fixed star Rigel or something like that. That big, big. And the philosophy, the psychology, the honesty with the self, and all of this equally met by the universe, the cosmos, through everything that happens in life as well. Because right now is that moment when everything in life has a meaning and something that our own soul, our own life force, if you will, is trying desperately to tell us. But on the other hand, we need to give each breath a meaning. So this moment is sacred. This week is sacred. Mars trines Neptune, of course. This is one of the biggest highlights. And Mars retrograde, right? So this trine will be held again, but in a totally different way. That's a different horoscope, not this. But this one, well, Mars retrograde in Cancer. Everything about of the past. Does this even make sense? Everything that happened to us in the past, but reactively. Did we react to everything in our lives as a retrospective, but very strong emotionally. Try Neptune, who who did we become based on that? Well, who did we become is simple. This the state of your consciousness that is listening to this horoscope. And why is this infinitely important to look in this mirror right now? Despite the fact there is so much we don't like. What we don't like, this is where Uranus trine Sun, the other aspect, does its magic. Everything is reversed. What we don't like is the gold. What we don't like is the value. And what we like is the excrement. And you might be shocked. What am I? Let me give you the most realist example because this has happened to me all through December and January. And the reason why is this moment, this horoscope, when I need to share my lived experience, but in a way that it's so relevant for the moment has come when it is my lived experience in life is what I'm sharing because the wisdom is so much there. So long story short, I have a few souls who usually come for readings every single year, but they are more like friends. So there was a pattern that happened to everyone. And that pattern, everyone's own unique and specific way, is why is my problem got to the fact that it's almost, I don't necessarily want to say killing me, even though, for example, a soul named Caroline, well, it's getting to there where her body is the problem in that sense. But as I said, every soul, every person, and you guys know who you are listening to this, their own story, but that which is getting really, really critical. Why hasn't all the astrology of the past years gave me the breakthrough or the what I'm actually looking for? There was one tiny error that all of us, and this is me too, I'm included in everyone. I'm just one of everyone. But I'm the speaker. That's the only thing that sets me up. I am the messenger, but I'm just everyone now. I'm you guys. I'm actually listening in my chair, and I'm the audience as well, just like you guys. Because this is where it's in everyone's life, so I'm included. All of what we did, all the healing work, all the pains and struggles and the understanding and the soul searching and all of that, well, of course, it wasn't in vain, but that led us to the biggest illusion of our lives, bigger than all of the illusions we were purging out. That life that we fought for, worked for, that everything that we basically desire, the breakthrough, us, the birth, everyone knows what I'm speaking about. I don't need to translate this further because you guys know exactly that special thing in your story, in your life, in your soul, in what everything is about, right? What you are about. Why isn't? Well, it's simple. Because you didn't um, do all that effort and hard work for the healed self. That's an aspiration. That's an illusion. It will never ever be as you imagine and you desire. No, you, who you are now, who survived, who was through the wound, who received all the wounds, regardless what this means to you, but you received it. You were on the receiving end big time. Many of us, we were the biggest aggressors, biggest judges, whatever. It doesn't matter how it played out, but what we worked for, well, belongs to us. This that we do not accept, or that we are not truly comfortable with. So why can't we have all in this state, as in that who we never ever wanted to become or wanted to grow out of? The, the chaos, basically, the chaos self. But why not? Why do we think that the source would favor a dream more than the actual what generates the dream? What generates the dream is everything that we are, even shadow, even mistakes, all of our weaknesses and fears, everything that we hate, everything bad that was done to us, everything bad that we done to others and the cosmos. And but all of this is just you, not the divine. Religion, spirituality is just us, our interpretation of it. It's not the divine. Nothing about spirituality, what we dish out, is about the divine. It's just the way we live it. If you ask it personally, it holds nothing against anyone. It's not vengeful. It accepts fully. It is just love. just tolerance, just acceptance. So this is where, as soon as we acknowledge the fact that what everything and the whole, perhaps in our subjective way, the whole cosmos was waiting for, is that we actually accept the fact that we made it, not our dream of ourselves. That slightly better, prettier, or slimmer, or happier, or not so toxic, not so wounded, not so aggressive inside our most honest cores. The one, maybe that self who is truly doesn't even want to stay near love anymore, because every living being has a right to be disappointed. You cannot bypass your disappointments with your knowledge and study of psychology, spirituality, understanding of the divine itself, and what it reacts to in frequency ways, right? Because that's when you're a trickster a bit to yourself. If you're disappointed, you're disappointed. But sometimes when a being is disappointed, the ball is in the divine's court, because healthy faith questions itself. Sometimes it is the divine through us, our inner, the cliche inner voice. I think this is the best possible wording for this. That simple, clicheing, same old inner voice that kept everyone sane in childhoods and stuff like that. That same old. Now that's really the umbilical cord here that connects us. And that's the real us. If we are disappointed somewhere there, well, that means the ball is not in our court anymore. It's in life's court. Of course, life has the option to make it worse, but fortunately, life is not fully, how should I say, um, free to do as she will in her full caprices, right? As in chaos is just 50%. But we are the ones who need to keep it in balance, or whatever percent works for us, if you know what I mean. But this is where it's us. This is what self-acceptance means. We need to accept this, who we are, and the worst of the worst us. That needs acceptance, not the beautiful dream, the illusion of who we aspire. That the aspiration, don't get me wrong, is so important and sacred and is a must, and is an identity within the identity. But in an that's a dream will stay a dream if it wants to be sacred. Any dream that became a reality, Tesla, his dream became, he showed electricity, but that is the bigger, that's what's torturing us right now, all of us collectively. Your anxiety issue that you probably, okay, 50% you can name this, that, but the other 50% why it's simply not going away is electricity, because nature doesn't like it much, as in stresses out the nervous system of any living being that's near it. So that's just a frequency, right? No one can put a finger on it, and no one, it's so simple that it just stresses me out and I cannot adapt to it. That's left at, but I don't really know why. When that's a big factual reality that the researchers, the Uranians have to take into consideration. But at the end of the day, the message is very, very clear with this Mars trine Neptune. Everything that's happened to you and your reactions to it, everything that you cannot really change, well, that's real and authentic in the eyes of the universe. If we ask for authenticity, well, we are not gonna get our dream, right? The surreal version of us. We're not gonna get the spring of the river, as in the whole spring in itself. Like, we're gonna get the river, not the part which is underground and is invisible, is meant to be invisible. When you ask for water, you get the river flow, right? The go and the river. But then don't expect when you say river, it's really not the underground spring. That's not, it's just the river. This is why we have self-compassion, self-support, self-tolerance, ultimately the cliche self-love. That's not passionate. Okay, some signs, some people, some archetypes, some energy, some situations in life. But the very core of it is just a mirror image, a reflection. That's a bit Neptunian in itself. But Neptune and anything in anything is nothing without the energies of Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, the sun, the source of light. We are light because do you know why we are literally light? The neurons fire up electricity in our brains. Well, that's light. Without that electricity, we can't be aware of anything. We're just a dream that's never ever entered the earthly sphere. So we are light. Sun in Capricorn is literally this. The truth of the truth that literally we generate the meaning of anything and the whole matrix, basically, if we want to call it. We are the generate, not vice versa. So that Sun trine Uranus, that gives us the freedom, Uranus freedom, Earth trine, the earthly freedom, the real, as in real, couldn't be more real than this freedom to feel and interpret things however it is that we, inside of that umbilical cord, the inner voice, truly wants and feels, and that's real freedom. Not what we want to force upon our being because it makes sense, or this is the textbook meaning of, okay, wellness, your life, who you are, what you should be living. No, the inner voice determines what your life story, the piece of art, the exhale back you send to the creator, the exchange of air, when you breathe, the inhale, exhale, the permanent exchange. The tree of life, the tree is actually giving us oxygen, so it's literal even. So, well, that's your piece of art. Who is anyone to tell you what it should be? No one. And that is why certain higher level children and beings in the cosmos can kind of do whatever they want, and nothing in a direct way is able to question them. So that's why they can only play an internal game of chess, because they can't do anything to each other. No, they can only like argue, like yes, no. They can only change the informational content. That's the only thing they can, nothing else. And in any other way, totally powerless. However, our case is not that extreme. We are maybe powerless in their sense. We cannot give the meaning to the ether, right? We cannot shape the ether in that sense because we don't have the AKA right. But here in our own bubble, in our universe, we should be the ones who say what goes and what not, what is okay, what is not okay. So there is that. And Pisces with Cancer as well. In a certain way, both Neptune and Mars, specifically in Cancer, and also on the 13th, a full moon in the sign of Cancer conjunct Mars. But I'm not going to be speaking about this in greater detail because I have a separate video if you want to check it out. But this energy of pure feeling, the inner voice itself, is when that tone is the only truth to one's being. So you can imagine how this is when we really, really need to look at everything that happened to us in the past and how we reacted to it. Mars retrograde, because we can change how we react from now on. And that overrides how we reacted in the past. We just say, it doesn't hurt anymore. I'm simply choosing not to be affected because this is emotion, emotional reaction. Whatever happened to me, well, look at me, I survived it. Okay, this has consequences. I'm not able to like others, but why exactly is that a problem? Because what if that in itself doesn't make the inner voice unhappy? What if what makes the inner voice unhappy is the fact that you want to aggressively be like others? Like, for example, an amputee is like not stopping to aspire, dream of a real limb. But this is where it makes it to the degree of ridiculous. It doesn't give the miracle the chance to happen, even if it wants to, because it's too aggressive, too Midas, King Midas, the Four of Pentacles in Tarot. That is the biggest blockage. That's not good type of belief energy anymore. That's the aggressive one. The cosmos and everything not dense flies away. Bye bye. No magic, right? So every dream and aspiration needs a certain degree of, well, I don't even want it to get real. Like truly. Because if it gets real, it kills the me that I am dreaming it. How about, like an amputee, a bionic arm, which is not a dream anymore, like truly not a dream. It's something that is accomplishable. And even if it doesn't meet the standards of the person now, in like really, I don't even know how many years I should mention. 2, 3, it's there. And it will just get better and better and better. That's a dream. That's not even a dream anymore. That's there it is, live it. But you live it, you, the bionic person. Why fear becoming a bionic person? Because ultimately that's why your dream, embrace it. And I got to the key word and the key idea and the key anything of all this horoscope and the year. Neptune in Pisces, Saturn in Pisces, Venus in Pisces, North Node in Pisces, and they will mix in together and then exit also Pisces. Sorry. When the dream, the ideal becomes reality, that's about embrace. Embrace who you are now. Embrace the person who suffered. All this quantum theories that everyone keeps talking about. But then if it's so interesting, fascinating, mind-blowing, exciting, or for some people even sexy or whatever, that you're watching tons of movies about it, shut down the movie or film. The universe put it on the first stage in an obvious way that right now is not movie time. No, fiction, no, 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 no. No fiction, no art. Let's put art aside right now. We don't combat energies with art right now. No, we combat it with pure faith and devotion. So what I want to say here is that there is a time when we truly need to embrace who we are. The person who went through everything. So we don't need movies, we don't need fiction, we don't need fantasy for the quantum to fascinate. We can be part of it by, as I said earlier, embracing who we. Why? Well, you already respond emotionally differently to the same triggers because you finally understood yourself that this who you embraced is the one that's actually the hero of the story, not somewhere the superhero you were listening to this. So that means everything from the past makes you less and less weak. That's also vice versa. The energy travels back in time. So your past self, remember all those times when you miraculously made it? Thank God. But what if God actually did that through this version of you, the future you? What if the future you that you're looking for is actually you? And you're a bit confused in timeline, but it's you who should be sending those thoughts. The faith, believe in yourself, girl, or someone will understand what I'm saying. Look at the wall, girl, stare at it, it's not happening. Yes, but that's you, not the girl or boy who was living the nightmare, but rather you whispering into the being of you, really, but across time, it seems like the ghost of you or something loving. So, Neptune and basically all of these Pisces energies are also about mystery. So what if the mystery, the big love that saved you, but it was just a feeling of the inner voice, was actually you now, your embrace. So this kind of changes everything in a literal sense. So those who are wise will understand what I just said here and are gonna get to work. Because this is when we can emotionally water bending rewrite certain things. Because if we cannot change what happened, but if we change how that made us feel or the extent of that, everything changes quantumly and then physically. And there's the type of Mandela effect that is caused by the reactor in Switzerland. There's the other type of Mandela effect that is caused by just us, the collective emotion. So let's cause the good type of Mandela effect. Like this and that never happened, but not in a cheap psychological or hypnotic bypass way, but in let's write the story. The ink, Neptune, Pisces, Venus, love, romance, but Venus unbound. This Venus is when anything is possible. But it had but why is this important? It should never become reality. So that's why anything is possible. Because you already know you're okay with the degree that anything manifested in your life. You don't want more. You embrace. You see the perfection in the imperfection. That's a big quantum. That's in computer games or movies or anime stuff like that. There's the character and they level up. That's real. This is what leveling up. The embrace is. Oh my goodness, I'm perfect in my imperfection. That immediately gives the imperfection the command to grow. right? Growth. That is a growth doesn't mean when you chop the bonsai and create an abomination. It means grow. And when you chop what makes sense, common sense. This is when we abandon like psychology, the inner voice, right? Let no one tell you what your life should be about. Let no one tell you how you should interpret the collective dream. Let not science tell you, religion tell you, nothing basically. Just your inner, not always, of course. Life is impossible that way. But at a very rare moment when you're actually supposed to dream, a very rare year, when you are supposed to be dreaming, because that dream is going to be washed back and forth, decanted, distilled, and the embrace. Remember my example, the bionic. You don't want to become someone eternally sorrowful, forcefully helped by the bionic. You want to become a big, proud bionic. Oh, but I have to. Sorry, I have to. I didn't want to do this, but I have to. So, very recently, before I've done this horoscope, I kind of randomly got a video suggestion about Dolly Parton, an interview when she had in her youth 70s or 80s or something like that, where the interviewer was I'm sorry to say it, but bitch. Like, when the question itself dirties you. Like, the question is like a cheap shot in itself. Like, answering it already made you feel spat at. Oh my goodness. I'm just gonna say the key. Well, she said that self-confidence means that she is so sure of her talent. Why? She feels it and she does that every single day. Like, she is really it. She is her talent. And she's so sure of it. Well, being it cannot be more. That's the maximum of reassurance, right? So she's so confident that she can actually make a mockery of anything else and people will still love the voice. And this basically, she didn't say it like that, but what she meant, the spirit that she dishes to the same. What does any singer do, right? Makes us feel. She is so sure of that she can dress up anyway. She can make a mockery, basically, and love it will still be there. So why shouldn't she do whatever she wants? And she even said to, however, within that, she has limits of decency. So what's the problem? Why shouldn't she be a mockery if she herself finds that amusing? She never wanted to become the singer of, she wanted to live her life as a joke. And she found the power to do it, the word. That's her life goal. For everything in her life, not to be serious. Well, why can't anyone really? That is really what anyone could do that if they're childish enough. Childish in a good sense, childish power. The cosmos listens to children like literally. There's no filter because they're innocent enough. So when people, adults, pull that off, well, of course they become powerful and they can do whatever they want. But because whatever they want does not include things that upset the universe or anyone or anything. So why stop them? Stopping them means power. If they don't do any imbalance, then. So this is really the key to free. Let me tell a totally different example. Like Rasta or Rastafarians. That's a kind of spiritual path, right? Well, this is where most practitioners are not like other religions or spiritual paths. This is where for a practitioner not to live in a miracle, semi-miracle, semi-not lucid, the dream state is rare. Then you're not doing it right. If the universe is not providing for you literally in any impossible situation, you're not doing it. You're not really it. That's fantastic. Of course, archetypes and archetypes. Me personally, I can pull it off. I mean, optionally, if I would necessarily want to. XYZ, not in a million years. However, there is that 1 week or that 1 year when everyone can a bit. Even those who can't, because those who can't have friends like me or any other water person, strong water person. So no problem, Jupiter in Gemini, Pluto in Aquarius. Interhuman connectedness, what's mine is yours. It's there, everyone has. Now Neptune, this Neptune, Mars trine and Cancer family, the self, the inner self, the breast, the embrace, the mother, mommy issues, healing mommy issues, daddy issues, moon trine, Saturn and the full moon in Cancer, parents issues. But you heal that with acceptance, not with not becoming it. I accept it, of course, in a harmonious, self-empowering, healing way, and not ways which make it 10 trillion times worse. So let's put this into context. We know what we are doing. We are not silly or unwise, or we know what we understood, what we embrace, and what that means in a good sense, not something silly, because Neptune is also illusion. So that in itself is big empowerment. That actually, how should I say, heals, because this is the only way to say it. It heals. That's the heal. That is what makes everything better, which means what the wound did to you doesn't need to make you anything different. You don't need to change anything in that sense. So do you see the dichotomy? But also the mystery of life, the divine, the duality, but where the duality is just one. The duality actually leads to unity. Because it's the same thing we're doing. We're just seeking for embrace, but in different ways. And that in itself, that embrace, makes all the Aquarius type of human connectedness resources be available there. And a good friend of mine experienced this instantly. The moment she embraced herself, and I'm not making this up, she can even comment, this was real. The moment she embraced herself as she was, not some silly ideal, breakthrough, or in the sense that Aquarius stepped up in her life immediately. Aquarius in the sense of an energy, expression, the real, more realer part of interhuman connectedness. The one step closer to Capricornish expression. Because Aquarius is ultimately Capricorn in, let me just give you an example, an easy to understand example. Capricorn, top-down authority, the state, Aquarius, politics. Hand in hand, right? Neighbors, of course, they're neighbors in the sky. Because they are built on, but every sign is like this. So, yeah, you got my astrological pulling over wool over your eyes here, because every sign has a lot of sense with its neighboring signs. But this is the case applied in physical reality for Capricorn Aquarius. Politicians and the states and institutions. politicians and billionaires, Capricorn. Pluto in Aquarius, billionaire. Pluto is always billionaires. Regardless of, replace billionaires with big nobles, or you get the big and powerful. Pluto and Aquarius. Now they have to either face the wrath of the collective or be just one. If they're just a bro, everything is okay. If they're trying to humiliate by any chance that we are not equal, what do you mean we're not equal? Then it's a big problem, because Pluto in Aquarius points out to inequality and makes, if you feel that in your heart, you will become that. So you can't bypass it with lying that you're not. You know what I mean? If you hate something, one way or another in the next 10 years, Pluto in Aquarius will make it so obvious to you that you will not be able to hide it anymore or deny it to yourself. Hate is hate, right? Just as love is love, hate is hate, the same thing, different ends of the spectrum, but something has to be what it is. We can't identify as something else. This is when I identify doesn't work, because Pluto, the reality is there. You can't unfeel or unbe, or you can. You can, but through transformation and lessons and the hard way. You can't just miraculously do that. So you can see how all of what I said is playing out in the truth hitting us hard. That's why things are not going away in our lives. Because that's the truth. We are who we are. Why change that? Why become someone else? Because if we become someone else, we defeat the whole purpose of everything. The self. The self is, there's ego death, but there is when the exaggerated version of that, when we aggress it, that's ego suicide. And what regrows is not going to be a happy bunny anymore, but something angry and vengeful. Because why did you do that? Why do that? Because there's, as I said, ego death when it outlived its purpose. Let me give you the simplest example. I don't want to be a ballet dancer anymore. It happened, but that doesn't mean everyone knows that is usually a good thing, because the next chapter, even the person knows that right now I have to be sad, right? That's something everyone experiences. But there's when the person, I don't want to be I don't want to be a ballet dancer anymore, takes this to a cosmic, cataclysmic level, and she turns into a black hole. And everyone around her suffers because of her tragedy. And the whole industry probably. And ends up in the news. And there's one, and then, of course, let me take this a bit further, Pluto and Neptune. And then 50, 100 years later, the next gen ghost hunters are going to be telling the story of the ballet dancer. Because she's not happy even then. You know what I mean? These things are not mysterious at all. When someone exaggerates, so we must not exaggerate, and we must not allow the modern culture to teach us that exaggeration, that's not the good freedom and a good embrace. That's why it's Neptune and Mars. That's why Mars is retrograde. For us to have lived through all the bad embrace, when we embrace the bad things, sometimes the bad embrace looks like gold. My healed self. Let me give you my example. The me who can go to restaurants. This makes so much sense to a certain degree. But to the other degree, then but why should that be part of my life anymore? Why can I make peace with the fact that I won't? It's the tragedy isn't mine. For me, it's really nothing. The fact that I inconvenience others is what bothers me. And this is simply really my lived experience. So the solution is simple, not force healing myself or getting really upset that it's not happening, but rather not caring that I upset other people. If I go back to my adolescence, I'm Gemini. I can even dish out to the table that when I upset people that I don't care, that kind of makes me happy-ish a bit. It makes me smile and giggle and feel all nice inside. So why did university kill that part of me? Like, why? University is just Capricorn. And I'm not a practitioner of law anymore. So why do I care when I really shouldn't? But this is my example. You are me in your situation. Why should you care about something inside of you that it is what it is? It happened, but it's not really your inconvenience, it's the world. So you're upset because but it is what it is. It's not just for you, it's for external reality, the cosmos's physical part as well. Because they're as above, so below. Above accepts you, as in, it happened, it was part of your story. Below is the problem, but because I still don't want this to have happened to me. Because what do others? This is when stop the movie. Of course, this has to be a part of others have to be part of this for a period. When you see that you struggle very, very much to please the world or a person, or other can be a part of you, your mind, your mental sphere, who had an education and could never be the rebel. People who are born under Uranus retrograde in one area of life have a hidden rebellion. They do the opposite. For example, the role model student, pupil who is perfect inside of them usually has a retrograde Uranus. And when they start nearing 40, no problem. You can live your childhood after 40, at 40. That's for the universe, for Saturn, Kronos, for nature herself. That isn't a problem for anyone, only for modern psychology, but not for nature, not for anything else. It's absolutely okay to return to childhood at 40. Please do it. It's fine, nice, no problem, but accept it. Live with it, do it, embrace it. Be in a cliche, Aries. For example, Aries natives are the easiest to do this. They may struggle like 3 days when they cold shower and I don't know, bang their heads literally against bricks, but when they wake up to the fact that okay, time to just be again after 3 days of punishment, it it's fun. Immediately the fun part starts. So this is what this week is about. This is what this year is about. The embrace happens in Pisces. Then towards June, Saturn and Neptune are spat or I'm so sorry to say this word, but I must, injected, or I don't know, ejaculated into Aries. But my disgusting terms, what they want to actually represent is that ether, the dream, the not so real enters the real. So just like insemination, something will start growing from that. So if that something is embraced, it can grow. That's why we need to embrace it now, so the growth can start taking place towards the summer. No, taking place is just when the seed decides that it's alive and starts sprouting. That's the moment. So no promises and guarantees though. And that is already refined by eclipses we'll have in March, the beginning of April, end of March. But now is the embrace part, when we embrace it, that I want to survive, but by being me. And this is me. And this is the real dream. I'm living my dream because I'm me. And my dream was about surviving when me, along with the whole cosmos, didn't want me to be me. I survived that. So now I can afford to be me. That is what living means. That you're okay. Really, not lying to yourself, but really okay. And that also means that whatever causes you great harm, you eliminate from your life, especially if it's a relationship that will never get better and it's causing you slow death of the soul and heart, or a job, or a career, or an ideal, or a faith, or something that you lost, someone who you're not anymore. Give that up and choose life, because that's lying to ourselves and clinging on to dreams aggressively, as I said, Midas, is not healthy, not good use of spirit. Embracing what we are and allowing us to life take us forward, whatever that means, that is embrace and acceptance, and that is real trust that it won't become a nightmare, even if we don't even know what to expect and we fear that. That's what embrace means. And towards the very end of the week, and this is North Node and Pisces is about all of 2025 going into 2026. Next 1.8 years. So 18 months. This is what 1.6. Sorry. So this is what it's all about. The dream, but the real one. And allowing the part of it which has to stay beauty forever. Beauty, sacred, God, in God's possession forever, guarded by the divine. And this, what I said, plays out on the world stage in the fact that religions are clashing. In a way, everything is peace, but they're still clashing and fighting in the name of religion. So we're denying what is going on, but it's still going on, and we're trying to find solutions denying that it's going on. So this is where, how can we be different when collective reality is like this? Trust me when I say we can't mess up worse than collective reality. So we're okay, really. The Sun conjunct Pluto is a powerful reality check, but the type which gives us power, not takes it away. So this is the 19th. We can see that the Sun holds an outer sign conjunction with Pluto. And the outer sign conjunction, to be totally honest with you, is more relevant than the actual perfected conjunction in Aquarius. And of course, with this, I would like to wish happy birthday season to all Aquarius natives. This is definitely going to be a interesting solar return for you guys, this 2025. But before we get there, this anaretic sun at 29 degrees of Capricorn, very intense. The elimination, where Pluto hang out on all through the autumn, the end of summer last year, when a lot of intensities happened. That anaretic degree of Pluto, and Pluto really, really put its mark on it. The sun illumination. That not just is revealed now, but something happens based on that. Something big happens based on that. But in our own personal lives, empowerment. Mars, fortunately, is no longer opposing in a very relevant way Pluto. So Pluto only has the corner of his eye on Mars. He is not staring at Mars anymore. So Mars is more free, and Mars in Cancer. Okay, not a necessarily great energy, but care and love passionately is there. Love can do miracles all through Mars. Stay in Cancer. The power of love is real. So there's that type of energy here. Mars is left alone, and even though it has nothing personally to do with this, Mars is still our drive, ambition, energy, execution. So it can dish out whatever the Sun and Pluto will ask of it. A great burst of power. And this Sun, as it starts to move into Aquarius, it trines the south node in the sign of Virgo, and that's big. Getting rid of something big with a power burst, a big decision, the eureka moment, giving up. But when I say giving up, is letting go. Surrender, but not the dramatic, spiritual. No, nothing spiritual about this surrender. This surrender is, let's get real, girl, boy. Let's get real. Let's get out of the head, get out of thoughts, dreams, fantasies, and get real with the self. With the self. And for many people, getting real, do you know what it actually means? Life is not serious. Aggressively, I won't allow life to be serious. Because that's them. And they are supposed to be doing that, even though mommy, daddy, school, teacher, job, boss, girlfriend, boyfriend, everyone told them all their lives not to be, as in to be serious. No. For some souls, Mercury, Loki, the devil was the role of the devil, really in a non-BS way, to make life fun. Why? Because it's needed. Otherwise, it's a prison and torture. Making life fun is a must. Saturn in Pisces. Saturn is also the headmaster, the teacher, the overseer, the slave driver. No fun, just work. Pisces is dual, the opposite, very same. But there's also the Saturn, which fun is a must. Like fun is everything. Don't you dare do a moment of work without fun. The same, but two sides of it. Pisces. So sometimes certain things in life are a must. They are not optional. And it is True freedom when we identify this and allow the self to feel what it to something, to represent something for the self. If you like chocolate with all your soul, why do you want to reprogram yourself? Regardless if you're a diabetic or don't kill yourself by all means, but why do you need to go to the level of extreme to even eliminate it from your being, the love of it? Even if sometimes the love is torturous and unhealthy, and especially if you're trying to lose weight or are a diabetic or some ADHD person or whatever. Chocolate's a drug, like nothing new here. But you know what I mean? Why not enter yourself and make some kind of peace with it? As in, why are you misusing it? Rather than go to a hypnotherapist to forcefully operate it out of you. So measure, kindness, gentleness. The shadow needs gentleness. The self needs gentleness. The inner animal needs gentleness. It won't react to cruelty. The two types of Saturn. So this energy and this week and this beginning of the year, this mirror moment that we need to embrace is very, 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 very important. And of course, as I said at the very beginning, the full moon in the sign of Cancer is the opener. Literally the opener. Moon being an exalted, very comfortable, powerful, emotionally filled, lacrimogenic, as in tearful, in so very many ways. I am really, really looking forward to the good side of it because Neptune and Mars trine, Pisces Cancer trine. Okay, it can mean for some good dose of drunkenness or when escapism, any substance or alcohol or fantasy book, movie, like really hits a spot. Like it hits a spot like, wow. Okay, but that can also mean higher things than that. Love, magic, kindness, dream, miracle. This is the moment. Water bending, emotions, twist and bend reality, emotional discharge, tears of forgiveness, embrace in hugs, lots and lots of hugs. So thank you everyone, and wishing you an empowered and emotionally clearing full moon. Until next time, bye for now.